Telling me that your committee.
And they're in practice.
Yeah.
And I think
Well, yours is up.
like, they've never.
Your party's there.
And on Monday, we're gonna do a lot. It's just, you know,
You'll be better.
Yeah. Ken reference as many of those points.
I have it all. It's
That was the price of pay.
And then we have an emergency tree coming down, so I have to give.
We're not taking. We'll figure it out.
One
I'm saying like tables and all. Oh, no. It's not gonna be one end or the other now. There's so many.
Yes,
options
that was
to take
like,
charge.
I
Just
think
to
it's
make it
wasted.
far. Yeah, you got right there.
Don't worry.
How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, it's like, you have a flashlight.
I got this, I got this, I got this.
Everybody. Oh, you have the yellow vest? Yeah. Oh,
But
yeah.
I'm sending them a reminder.
You're saying. Well, as soon as you send it, I'll remember to check it. Just make sure Dana has it in. That's the put this up. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, the weather looking.
Okay.
Talk to you on
Yeah,
the.
but not enough to cancel.
There's a 20 to 30.
Yeah.
It has a little, like.
So,
Public comment.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so.
It's supposed to be.
Yeah, well.
That we have that. I was down by you. Rick?
When, yeah.
I was there.
Didn't really get involved, we got, we gave rain that Friday. We got
No,
that rain.
yesterday. Really? So it was just like pockets and mountains
Yeah.
that got hit so hard.
That's fun. What you think? I don't watch it.
Yeah, we were all right.
Yeah, good to see you, sir. I know, I was out in the water, I was playing mahjong and didn't realize how fast the water was coming down. And I was driving back and I saw your vehicle, I'm like, oh, he's gonna yell at me, I shouldn't be on the road.
Oh, no. It's more for the areas that has the flooding.
Thank you. Call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wish to announce the 48-hour notice is required under the Open Public Meetings Act, was emailed to the Asbury Park Press, the Co-Star, and the New Co-Star on December the 18th of 2025. That a copy has been placed on the bulletin board in the borough office and that a copy has been filed with the municipal clerk. Please be advised, public attendance for meetings through Zoom is not mandatory and a courtesy only. If for any reason Zoom fails or is disconnected, the in-person meeting will continue without interruption and action can and will be taken, providing that there is an in-person quorum. Mr. Noble?
Here.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Here.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Here.
Mayor Gubatose?
Here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome and good evening to those on Zoom. I'm going to jump right into item 5 on our agenda, which is workshops, and there are none. Item 6, presentations and bids. Once again, there are none. Item 7, approval of the minutes. I will make a motion that we approve the June 16, 2026 council business meeting minutes.
Second.
Mr. Noble? Ms.
Yes.
Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve the June 16, 2026 executive session minutes.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve the June 30th special meeting minutes for the municipal budget public hearing and adoption.
Second.
Thank
I
you.
didn't realize I was on turn.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mr.
I
Nowicki?
abstained because I was absent, unfortunately.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes. All right, item 8 on the agenda, public comments or questions. Again, at this time, comments or questions must pertain to tonight's agenda items only. At the end of the meeting, you'll have an open opportunity to discuss anything else. Any comments or questions about tonight's agenda? Anyone on Zoom? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item 9 on our agenda, which are ordinances. And specifically, we have one ordinance for introduction. I'm going to turn this one over to the sponsor, our Council President, Jane DeNoble.
Thank you. Yes, I am the liaison for the Shade Tree Commission, and then we did have a request by the commission. So on behalf of the Shade Tree Commission, I want to emphasize that their true goal is to partner with residents to protect our tree canopy. and not to issue fines ever. But the old $200 penalty was outdated and treated as a minor cost.
I apologize.
It was a minor cost of doing business. Now, neighboring communities like Ocean Grove, Asbury Park, and Spring Lake maintain similar $1,000 fees or even higher. And the good news is that I spoke with the Spring Lake Councilwoman Sid Wally today, who worked with their commission for the past 15 years, and they have never issued a single fine. So this fine works strictly as a deterrent, which is exactly the commission's intent. This change also satisfies the updated state NJ DEP Tier A regulations, which legally mandate that coastal towns enforce a tree removal and replacement ordinance on all public and private properties because mature trees serve as a vital stormwater infrastructure against flooding and runoff. So ultimately, we are required to manage this collective canopy together to protect our environment. Now, the Shade Tree Commission has been incredibly successful in keeping Bradley Beach green by planting hundreds of trees. And a huge thank you also goes out to the homeowners who partner with them by replacing their trees. The commission's absolute hope and goal is that this $1,000 fine never actually has to be issued. They would much rather work together to keep Bradley Beach green, resilient, and thriving. So I know I spoke to each one individually. Did anybody have any further questions on this?
I guess, I have one question,
Sure.
a simple one. This is, requested by the Shade Tree Commission, and my question is that because they actually had evidence that the 200 was not a deterrent?
Yes, they had people bypassing it and treating the fine as just part of doing business because it was, again, it was cheaper probably to pay the fine than actually replace the tree. Currently, all it is a $50 application, and that $50, it goes to plant more trees. So they felt that people weren't taking the $200 penalty seriously, and apparently it is outdated. And the county and state recommend fines up to $2,000 per tree. But we did a little research, and some towns were 500 and some were 1,000, some were 2,000. So we kind of did in the middle of 1,000, or they decided upon that. Yeah.
We had run into a similar thing with the sidewalk snow removal, where it was cheap just to pay the fine than it was to have somebody shovel your. So I think it's great, because once you take down a tree, you can't undo that.
You can't undo that. Yeah, especially a mature, healthy tree, you know, and that's what we're aiming to say about it. Of course, you know, if you have a dead or dying tree or a tree affected by a storm, you're more than welcome to take that down, and it does not have to be replaced. But luckily, like I said, the Shade Tree is planting hundreds of trees, so it makes up for the dead and dying trees as well.
So also, I just want to double check that the Shade Tree Commission is issuing that green permit. When
Yes.
someone has a permit to do so.
Yes,
So if I'm walking down the street and I'm a person who's disturbed when trees are coming down without permission,
yes,
because I don't want to see fewer trees.
right.
I've seen them in the windows.
There.
Yeah, okay, this has been saving us a lot of time because
Good.
people are very conscious of the trees, which is great. It's a collective effort, you know, to protect our tree canopy. So we would get a lot of calls when a tree was coming down, so we created the green placard, so people understand this is an approved tree. This is going in a house, they have a tree of heaven, which we welcome for people to cut down.
Right.
And get rid of, because it's an invasive species, and of course, it's the favorite of the green, of the spotted lanternfly. So, yeah, I was thinking that emerald ash borer, but we don't, that's a whole nother bug.
Okay, any other comments or questions from the council?
Okay,
Madam President, would you like to make? a
yes,
motion?
let me see if you have, okay, this is what I was looking for, thank you. So I would like to make a motion that we introduce ordinance 2026-31, the ordinance amending chapter 425 trees of the borough's revised general ordinances to enhance the violations and penalties for violations of shade tree regulations. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. DeNoble? Ms.
Yes,
Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatose?
Yes.
thank you.
All right, We have no ordinances for adoption, so we'll move to item 10 on the agenda. Communications, and we have an update on the Promenade and Silver Lake construction projects. The question is, Mr. Doherty, are you providing that update or will I do that?
That's up to you, Mayor.
Well, I thought you had some material pulled together.
Yes, just on the Promenade extension, construction began yesterday, March sixth, during a tsunami. Temporary stairs have been constructed at Third Ave and Second Ave to maintain beach access during construction. The contractor is mobilizing equipment and materials and performing prep work this entire week. And the bulkhead construction will start next week. Hopefully we'll see that giant pile driver out on the beach pretty soon. Also for Sylvan Lake Bulkhead, Mayor, construction also began yesterday, July sixth. The contractor is mobilizing equipment and setting up traffic control this week. They will begin work on the bulkhead next week at the western end of the project at Madison Ave and work their way towards Evergreen Ave. They will work in approximately 100-foot sections to excavate soil and construct the new bulkhead before moving on to the next section. Excavated soil from the Sylvan Lake project is being used to backfill behind the bulkhead at the Promenade Extension project. So quite literally, one project is intertwined with the other project, keeping all the soil, the sacred soil of Bradley Beach here in Bradley Beach.
And saving hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Well, that minor detail.
We like that too.
And also, the reason why they're doing those sections smaller like that, for a couple of different reasons, but one of the key things is to reduce the impact, not tearing up the whole entire length of Bradley Boulevard, but doing pieces, and that also preserves parking for beach access as long as possible. So they're not gonna disturb that, until they get down to that end of the Bradley Boulevard. So it's actually, contractors being very cooperative. Both contractors are, so that's really positive.
Yes, and the one at Sylvan Lake, that bulkhead, recently, as you know, did work at the same spot between us and Avon by the sea with the outflow pipe this past winter. And did an excellent job with that, so we look forward to working with them again on this project.
Right, and then the outfall project, they're also going to be doing the gate replacement, a change order to that New Jersey DEP project. So that's supposed to happen sometime here late summer into the fall. So that will really, complete a lot of that infrastructure replacement that we need.
And that gate is critical because particularly with yesterday, with concerns of rising water and so forth, I know that at Fletcher Lake, they had to open the gate in order to lower the water table. I don't believe that they needed to do that at Sylvan Lake, but that gate is very problematic.
Yeah, they did reduce. The problem, the timing of that is all problematic because with the tides, you have to time it with the tides, and
Right,
so that's really one thing affects the other, so.
right. Can I also just ask, since there seems to be a discussion going on, the transfer of soil is going to be like section by section over to the promenade, and that will work in terms of the promenade use of it?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. So initial excavation won't be so wet. And when it starts to get too wet to move right away, they'll stockpile it a little bit, let it drain, and then move it.
stockpile it around Sylvan Lake?
Yeah, so our engineer, yes, before moving it to the promenade. Because you don't want to just have mud drop and drip
Right.
everywhere. But the two contractors are being coordinated by Artheon, our engineer. And they're being very cooperative, working together to coordinate all of this. So, fingers crossed that this cooperation continues in a positive way and minimizes impact to the public.
Right.
And then the timing of when that stuff moves is going to be critical also, not to disrupt. Don't do it in the middle of the afternoon and do it, before, there's a lot of traffic and
Right.
pedestrians and that type of thing.
And it's just another benefit to the council to have a real engineer on the council. Because you're doing two projects that could be done in separate years. That would have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars more, because you would have had to pay to remove the soil. And then you would have had to pay to also bring in soil. So, because of Councilman Nowicki, everything's getting done at one time. saving the taxpayers hundreds of thousands of dollars.
And there's some inconveniences to it because it does create more construction in the town all at once, and so it is disruptive to the community. But we're trying to do everything we can to try to minimize that disruption to the community. But it's critical that this happens now. One, the promenade, because we would have lost the funding if we don't complete it or haven't. If we didn't complete that project and have it done here by December 31st, we'd have lost $4 million of funding for that project. And so it is critical that that gets done before the end of the year.
I saw the signs also on the beach now, so other people can find out, just scan the QR code and find out what the status is and about the project.
Yeah, we're really trying to up the game on communications. Like we've said that for over the last year, with the sewer program, the demolition of the church on Lorraine. And so we're really trying to up the game on communication, and it takes a lot of effort from the staff and from the consultants and all of us. So I know Councilman Carp, you also had your fingers on with some of those communications as well. So it's good to have your collective team trying to touch things, make sure that we get the right messages out.
Thank you.
I think what's important for our residents to know, because you're hearing us reference different projects, the gate, the bulkhead and so forth. What's really important to know is two very major projects are taking place in a very limited area of Bradley Beach, the southeast corner. One is, we referenced the bulkhead on Sylvan Lake, and that is in fact the key project about to get underway. But it's part of a much broader restoration series of projects, including the outfall pipe that we mentioned, including dredging the lake ultimately. So putting in a walking path, narrowing Bradley Boulevard. There's a lot that's going to happen for Sylvan Lake. There's also a lot that's going to happen related to extending our promenade, the pavers and our boardwalk heading south towards Avon, because that is the lowest area ground level relative to sea level in Bradley Beach, very susceptible to ocean surges and flooding. So and I'll give the credit to prior Councilman John Weber a number of years ago, said this is a key project the borough needs to undertake to protect our residents, the homeowners, especially in the southeast corner. So that is underway, phase 1, phase 2, we're applying for funding. And then ultimately there will be a phase 3 that will actually connect our boardwalk fully extended to Avon's boardwalk. So a lot happening all at once, and we squeezed it in. You probably noted, Councilman Nowicki just said a lot of our funding runs out on December 31st of this year. So we're obviously in a hurry to get to the work. But at the same token, we didn't want to start before July 4th. We know there's going to be disruption at the beach, but we did everything we could to begin that construction post July 4th. And we did have contractors saying, hey, could we get started a little early? And we said no. So right now, it's kind of a sprint to the end of the year for all these projects, and contractors are starting. So I know it's disruption to all of our residents. I can assure everyone that 50 years from now, long after I'm gone and many of us are gone, Bradley Beach will look back on these projects and say, wow, this was critical in terms of sustainability for Bradley Beach, that we got this all done in such a short period of time. So pardon the inconvenience. As Councilman Nowicki and others have mentioned, we have signs with QR codes. We are updating our website regularly. Scan that QR code or just go to the website. I forget the title, but it's something like projects or construction projects. There's
Infrastructure projects.
infrastructure projects. Thank you. Just go directly to the website. It's on the homepage, but you'll see regular updates. We'll post new information as it becomes available to us. All right. Thank you, Mr. Doherty, for leading that discussion. And we can now move to item 11 on our agenda, which is resolutions. We have 3 consent agenda resolution items. Are there any questions or items that the council would like to discuss or vote out separately? All right, in that case, I'll make a motion that we approve 20 council consent agenda resolutions 2026-185 through 2026-187.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Carp?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Individual resolutions, there are four. The first is 2026-188, authorizing the mayor and municipal clerk to execute the fiscal year 2027 through fiscal year 2029 cooperation agreement with Monmouth County for cooperative participation in community development program pursuant to Uniform Shared Services and Consolidation Act. And this basically just enables us to have available to us programs, grant funding and such that Monmouth County might make available. If we don't sign up for this, we cannot apply for those grants. Any comments or questions?
I presume this is just now updating the
Yes.
contract.
Mhm.
It's been in place for the past 3 years and we're renewing it. Okay, if no other comments or questions, I'll make a motion that we approve 2026-188.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Cart?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Councilman Nowicki, would you like to take the next one or?
Yes, individual resolution 2026-189, approval to submit a grant application and execute a grant contract with the New Jersey Department of Transportation for the improvements to Park Place Avenue Phase 3 project. So just quickly, the Park Place, a portion of the sewers from Main Street to Fletcher Lake had been completed two and a half years ago. And so part of our sewer replacement program is next spring is to complete Park Place. A piece of Park Place is going to get done here in the fall. And then the final section of Park Place, which will be from Madison to Ocean Avenue, will be completed in the spring. So as we're marching along, we're completing the sewers as we go. We're using DEP funding, principal forgiveness, and our funding from the infrastructure bank to do the sewer work. In order to get free money to add to that, we're going to the DOT and requesting money for the resurfacing of the roadway. So after we dig up the street, put in the sewer, instead of borrowing money or using the money from DEP to pay for the road fix, we're using DOT money. And so we're coordinating these two to maximize the amount of free money we can get to do these projects. And so we're staging these one after the other. And so what this resolution does will allow us to submit for this here fiscal year for funding, and we've done this in previous years, to do the resurfacing of Park Place Avenue. Once we do the sewer reconstruction, we'll be able to repave Park Place with DOT funding, grant funding. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to approve 2026-189 grant application for the improvement to Park Place Avenue Phase 3 project.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Cart?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. Does anyone care to lead the block party discussion? If not, I can, but
Second Avenue.
it's close to you.
I
We
know.
also have one at Burlington. We have.
They're all-
I know.
As long
This is
as
the
we have
third-
We have a party.
October 3rd.
That's right. So this is, I'll take it. This is the third block party request for this summer season, and this is for a block party on the 200 block of Second Avenue for Saturday, September 26th, with a rain date of October 3rd, and it's an afternoon block party. Are there any questions about this?
You see, it's a minor question, but the 1 PM to 5 PM, that time slot is for either date, the original date or the rain.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
correct.
okay.
Okay, so I would like to make a motion. Is there anyone else who has any questions?
I would just question this. Does the police department have any concern over an afternoon block party versus in the evening? There's no.
What was the date again?
September 26th.
September 26th is the actual date of the block party, and then there's a rain date of October 3rd.
Outside season.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2026-190, approving the block party on the 200 block of Second Avenue.
Second.
Mr. Noble?
Yes.
Ms. Greenblatt?
Yes.
Mr. Cart?
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki?
Yes.
Mayor Gubatosi?
Yes. 2026-191, we went through a similar process related to Darcy's Tavern a couple meetings ago. where there just wasn't enough time. Darcy's Tavern made a request for 2 dates. There were men's, national soccer team games on July 1st and July 6th. They were scheduled to end at 10, but had there been an overtime, had there been a sudden death, they requested, could they, if needed, stay open till 10:45 PM. They were requesting 45 extra minutes for each date. We did not have a council meeting in advance of those dates. So Mr. Carp, I believe you coordinated the polling, so if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, so, so I spoke to the people who were not going to abstain from the council, and we agreed. We thought it was kind of a continuation of this the special event. Also, when we had made the exception last time, it had actually started at 10 o'clock and then was going to continue on till 12:30. But the most that this would have continued on would have been to about 10:45. And in fact, both games ended at 10 o'clock in regulation time. So they were actually able to close on time and not need the extra time.
So would you care to make a motion?
So I would make a motion to approve 2026-191 retro ratifying permission for Darcy's to operate until 11 o'clock on July 1st and 6th.
Second.
Mr. Noble,
I live within 200 feet, so I will abstain.
Ms. Greenblatt,
Yes.
Mr. Carp,
Yes.
Mr. Nowicki.
Yes.
Mayor Gubitosi.
I also live within 200 feet and will abstain. All right, that concludes our individual resolutions. We'll move to item 12 on the agenda, announcements. There are none. 13A is the administrative report. Do you have anything left for us, Mr. Doherty?
Just a few things, Mr. Mayor. The restrooms at the old pump station are up and running. And thank goodness they were for this weekend. This weekend was tremendous amount of volume of people coming to Bradley Beach. We had a record number of daily beach bed sales on Friday the 3rd, exceeding $50,000 for the first time ever. The lifeguards did a tremendous job over the weekend. The beach badge checkers, the beach badge sellers, all our employees really stepped up. There were news reports telling people in Middlesex County, Union County, Bergen County to go to the beach to get away from the heat. And people listened. So, and obviously Bradley Beach is an extremely popular destination. So we had a tremendous amount of people who came here. It was very wise to keep the construction starting after the 4th of July. It would have been quite challenging to have that closed off and ongoing during this past weekend. So also at the same time, we had some significant storms that had power outages. Again, the cleanup had been for a couple days. Our Department of Public Works really stepped up, did a great job. Our police department shutting down streets. Well, JCP&L could clean out live electrical wires. JCP&L has been in constant contact with us. There's one spot that today, at least they started, I'm not sure if they finished, putting a new pole on Newark that was damaged because of the storm. That caused an outage for about 30 people on Newark and Lake Terrace, so we kept in contact with them as well. We let people know through social media the progress for instance, on Monday, there were 69 people out. Today there were, I'm sorry, reverse that. There were 67 people out. Today they were down to 49. Most of them in the Newark Lake Terrace area, and then also Evergreen had a little pocket. So I just want to thank JCP&L for that as well. That's all for me, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. We'll move to mayor and council reports. Well, let's start with Councilman Nowicki.
Thank you, Mayor. First, police activity report. For the period June 11th through July 5th. On June 17th, 600 block of Main Street, a 39-year-old male from Brick was arrested on an outstanding warrant from Point Pleasant Beach Municipal Court. He was processed and later released. Patrolman Andrew Redmond made the arrest. June 19th, 708 Third Avenue, a 41-year-old female from Bradley Beach was arrested and charged with defiant trespassing after she was found in a condemned home after previously being told she could not return. Patrolman Gianna Trani and Patrolman Daniel Crow made the arrest. On June 21st, Main Street and Brinley Avenue, a 58-year-old female from Ocean Grove was arrested and charged with obstructing the administration of law after she interfered with an investigation during a motor vehicle stop. She was processed and later released. Sergeant William Major made the arrest. On June 26th, 700 block of Main Street, a 32-year-old male from Freehold was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct. He was also given borough ordinances for having alcohol in public and a public nuisance. He was processed and later released. Patrolman Daniel Crow made the arrest. June 29th, Fletcher Lake Avenue and Lake Terrace Avenue, a 79-year-old male from Neptune was arrested and charged with driving under the influence and several motor vehicle offenses. Patrolman Samuel Forjak made the arrest. June 30th, 700 block of Main Street, a 40-year-old female from Woodbury was arrested on an outstanding warrant from Bradley Beach Municipal Court. She was processed and later committed to the Monmouth County Jail. Patrolman Edward Hernandez made the arrest. The police department also investigated 15 motor vehicle crashes and responded to several calls for service during this time period. So it's been a busy period for our police department.
Yeah.
Things were heating up in those 2-week period, literally. So thank you for all that you do and your department chief. And then on Silver Lake, I don't have anything to report. We've already discussed the projects. There is a meeting here in this chambers next week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. And also the land use board, I have nothing to report on that. But I understand next Thursday, we do have a pretty full agenda of, so we'll be busy again in this chamber on Thursday with the land use board. And that's my report, Mayor.
Thank you, Council President DeNoble.
Thank you, Mayor. The next Board of Ed meeting is July 21st, so I'll report on that at a later date. The Shade Tree Commission standby is going to have a meeting later, but Amy wanted me to share. Amy Baker, our tourism director, says tomorrow kicks off Jazz and Blues series 7 to 9 p.m. in the park with Demolition Brass Band, high energy New Orleans style. 3-time winners of the Mummers Parade in Philly. That's impressive. Thursday night kicks off the Brookdale Songwriters on Newark Avenue, and Saturday is the Moroccan Sheep Herders in the park. They're amazing. And also, if you could donate blood or platelets on July 16th, men especially are needed for platelets. So please mark your calendar, July 16th at the Firehouse. And then finally, we have the Shade Tree Commission. They had a meeting on July 1st. They had a couple applications. One was 303 2nd Avenue. They have 3 dead trees. They were approved to remove those. 402 5th Avenue also has a dead tree that is infested with carpenter ants and beetles. They were also approved to remove that tree. They're working on the Pollinator Point over on 2nd Avenue. And they're going to be replacing some of the Hypsop viburnum, which is also known as blueberry bushes. But I just like to try my Latin out there. Yeah, it's kind of fun. And also on Saturday, July 18th at 9 a.m. to noon, the New Jersey Tree Foundation will be giving a course just about how to prune a tree, how to identify trees, and the Shade Tree Commission will be getting 3 CEUs for that, which is nice. And they also need this for a new grant to maintain tree city status. And this is open to the public. And if you do attend, you will get pruners and a bandsaw and a tree ID book. So it's pretty cool stuff. And that completes my report. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilwoman Greenblatt.
Thank you. I apologize in advance. I have a couple of lengthy reports. It's a busy time for my liaison groups. So the Arts Council last met June 22nd. Despite the rain out Saturday, June 27th, the first annual Arts Fest, which included the Posh Real Estate Art opening and UVA's singer-songwriters after party, was a huge success. 13 Bradley Beach artists exhibited their work with food and wine catered by Stockroom's General Store. The art exhibit ran from June 27th to July 4th with enthusiastic community response and many sales. The weather did not foil UVA's bash, which took place upstairs and filled to capacity. Thanks to all the devoted Arts Council members, community partners, artists, and musicians for their participation. The Arts Council is planning to reschedule its afternoon program, which will include string bean, line dancing, a drum circle, art workshop, and more. Details on date and location will be published shortly, so please keep an eye out. Thanks again to Abby Khan for running a musical improvisational workplace shop Wednesday, June 18th. Lainey DeFranco's Ballet for Balance will continue through the end of July, and that's based on popular demand, with classes running Wednesdays, 10 a.m. to 11:15 at the Bradley Beach Fire Hall. The program is open to men and women 50 years and older. No registration is necessary. And the Arts Council will next meet on Monday, June 20th, 10 a.m. at the Biazzi Center. And for Fletcher Lake, the Fletcher Lake Commission has not met since our last council meeting, but an update on the fish stocking. While the DEP has given a green light for fish stocking in the lake, which includes bluegill sunfish, channel catfish, largemouth bass, and fathead minnows, due to current high water temperatures, they have recommended that we wait until spring of 2027 to go ahead. The borough will plan a festive public event next spring when the commission goes ahead with stocking. Monmouth County thunderstorms on Monday produced heavy rain with an estimated accumulation of over 5 inches, and upwards of 7 inches of rain fell over a tiny corridor of Monmouth County at up to 3 inches per hour. Enormous thanks to Bradley Beach's DPW for lake mitigation, monitoring, and draining Fletcher Lake back down to pre-storm levels. Meantime, the commission has received a very favorable report from CLONET, the Coastal Lakes Observing Network out of Monmouth University. And based on the available water quality data beginning in 2019 as compared with 2026, Fletcher Lake is clearly moving in a positive direction. The trends indicate improved dissolved oxygen levels, greater water clarity, and lower algae indicators when compared with previous years. This is encouraging news and reflects the commitment of everyone who has invested their time, expertise, and resources in restoring this important coastal lake. CLONET will host a public workshop on July 14th to reveal results of a recent eDNA sampling on the makeup of marine life in Monmouth County's coastal waters. Food and refreshments will be served beginning at 6 p.m. with presentations starting at 6:45 p.m. The workshop will be held in room 201 of the Edison Science Building at Monmouth University. For further information, go to the university's website and to their events tab. The commission will next meet this Thursday, July 9th in this council chamber. And finally, the rec committee, while it's not meeting for June or July because of camp, there's certainly a lot going on. Mahjong Open Play runs every Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. at the Biazzi Center, and I understand that that's very well attended. Strength training takes place Monday mornings at the Neptune Community Center at 10 a.m. and step aerobics Monday and Thursday evenings at 6:30 p.m. Both are free of charge. The rec summer program opened Monday, June 29th, and will run through August 14th. Pickleball courts and the rec facility will not be available while camp is in session. First week of camp was a blast. Campers were treated to video game trucks, laser tag, and inflatable soccer. The lifeguards visited as well to go over beach safety, so they were ready for their first beach day. And that's sometime this week. The new playground is a huge hit with all the campers and parents. Following tradition, the Recreation Committee will provide breakfast to staff on Wednesday mornings. To celebrate National Parks and Recreation Month, the Rec Department is hosting a Discovery Bradley Beach Golden Ticket Hunt throughout July. Every Friday morning, 2 parks with hidden golden tickets will be announced on social media. Each ticket includes a fun fact about the park and can be redeemed for a prize at the municipal building. We hope this encourages everyone to explore Bradley Beach's beautiful parks learn something new, and enjoy outdoor fun. Prizes are perfect for all ages. Recreation is planning its first ever Camp Throwback Weekend, a 3-day day camp for adults. This will run August 27th through the 29th, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. At $175 per person. The fee includes lunch and complimentary beach passes for all participants, as well as camp shirt and lanyard with perks from restaurants, shops, and bars all over Bradley Beach. Summer bocce leagues go into their finals this week. The next bocce league will run July 21st to August 28th. Registration was published and is open, published this past Monday, July 6th, and remains open. The rec department's annual back to school bingo is at the end of August. They're already collecting donations, and you can find the donation list on the rec page of the website. And this is actually a very important event, as it provides school supplies and backpacks for any student who comes to attend. The Recreation Committee will next meet on August 10th, 6:30 p.m. at the Rec Center. And that completes my report.
Thank you, Councilman Carp.
Thank you. Yesterday, the Environmental Commission met, and planning is underway for the next knotweed removal event on Saturday, July 25th, 9 to 11 a.m. with volunteers being recruited through previous participation, social media, and some community outreach. So sign up when you start to see those announcements. The commission also continued its discussion on long-term invasive weed management, including the evaluation of potential use of a herbicide to combat the knotweed. So they're getting some additional information on costs and application methods and gather that information before any determination and recommendations are made. Evidently, the tack that they've been taking of going and doing it 2 to 3 times a year, they'll just continue to do that every single year. There will be no end in sight. So other towns such as Avon have used this chemical, which is actually safe for areas around water, which is good because Fletcher Lake is right there. They also discussed some public education surrounding the borough's leaf blower, the potential for a leaf blower ordinance, and is exploring the possibility of hosting a community workshop later this year in partnership with some of the neighboring communities. Finally, the commission would love to encourage residents to get involved by volunteering for the Environmental Commission through monthly meetings, beach sweeps, species removal, and other environmental initiatives that support the borough. They meet once per month, right here in this room on the first Monday of every month. The fire department, both when they sent the fire department and the first aid department, both of them wrote at the top of their messages, it was a busy month. So for the month ended June 30th, for the fire department, they responded to 10 day calls and 6 night calls for a total of 16, 12 fire alarms, 2 elevator rescues, and 2 carbon monoxide alarms. They conducted department-wide training. There was 1 request for mutual aid from Avon due to 2 simultaneous elevator rescues in different buildings due to power failure. They're happy to report they have 1 new recruit graduate from the Monmouth County Fire Academy. And of course, they're still looking for volunteers for the department, and they offer free training for qualified individuals. Anyone who wants to volunteer, please go to the borough's website. For the first aid squad for the operational period ending July 7th, the squad responded to 20 day calls and 19 night calls for a total of 39. 24 medical, 10 fire, 3 motor vehicle. The squad requested no mutual aid. They did provide some mutual aid to Neptune City for a car that was in the water due to the flooding. They also provided medical overwatch, as well as participating in the 4th of July event at Riley Park, as well as the fireworks display. They had 150 total volunteer hours for last month. They too are always looking for volunteers for the squad, and anyone wishing to volunteer can be found on the borough's applications can be found on the borough's website. And that's my report for today. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. All right, I've got a number of things to cover. I'll try to do this quickly. First, and not necessarily foremost, but nonetheless exciting. We were just notified officially yesterday by Senator Gopal, along with Councilwoman Donlin and I'm sorry, Assemblywoman Donlin and Peter Paul, that Bradley Beach will receive a $200,000 grant to help us fund police, fire, and first aid radios. So very excited about that. Chief, you've been asking for this for quite some time. Glad we're going to be able to deliver it this year. There is upcoming Mayor's Wellness Walk on July 14th, and I'm particularly excited about this. I do these Mayor's Wellness Walks to promote, wellness and, health. But this one, the committee came to me and said, we want to do one on fermentation. Because believe me, and when I tell you, the focus of this wellness walk will be beer and bagel bits. So if you're willing to walk a little bit, about a mile, there will be beer at the end of the walk. July 4th, I believe it's July 14th, I believe it's 4 p.m.
It's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday, next
Okay.
Tuesday. And anyone interested, we'll start at the gazebo on Ocean Ave, and we're gonna walk up to Main Street. And that's gonna be the less healthy part. The real healthy part will be getting into the fermentation. All right. There is a blood and platelet donation opportunity. There are severe shortages of blood and platelets related to blood. I gather the blood takes about an hour to donate, platelets take about 2 hours. But on July 16th, most of the day here at our firehouse, anyone who's interested, please consider donating just to help the severe shortages that exist in hospitals as we speak. We had a crazy July 4th week, as most of you know. The weather was crazy, that humidity, the heat index drove us up to 110, 114. People were physically suffering from the heat, only to then have the crazy storm we had knocking down trees, knocking out power. Then the following day, we had 5 inches of rain in an hour, potentially starting to at least flood our lakes. With all of that, we were, as we said earlier, pending all this construction that was going to start. And of course, the contractors are looking at us a little half crazy, like, they wanted to get in early and we're saying, no, you can't. So they were a little nervous about kicking off on January 6th. Anyway, we made it through 4th of July. We made it through the crazy weather. We got that construction going. I cannot say enough how wonderful our employees are, whether it be the fireworks, our OEM and police coordinated with first fire and first aid. I thought we had a great fireworks show. Thank you, Chief. But I had my own grandkids here, and they had a blast at that fireworks. They loved the grand finale, as my 5-year-old granddaughter kept calling it. So awesome. But what goes on behind the scenes, the work that our employees do for all these things. Let me not forget to mention the 250th anniversary of the country. Team led by Amy Hall, Michelle Wiley, Courtney Pappas, and the DPW and the police and everyone else pulled off a very nice event at Riley Park to celebrate our nation's birth. It wasn't quite the anniversary of our nation becoming a nation, but it was the kickoff to that of July 4th, 1776. That was a great success. Concerns were raised that the horse pulling a carriage might have overheated it. That horse did not. The town and the owner was very focused on the horse's health, kept him very short walks through shaded areas, kept him very content. The owner said he was hotter than the horse because he was dressed up in revolutionary garb. So anyway, anyone who had raised concerns, just be appeased that the horse did very well. The lengthy report that I often have is library. I'm going to make it fairly quick, but again, I have 50 things. Please go to, if you have young children especially, or if you're interested in certain arts and crafts, knitting, quilt making, things like that, please go to the library website. It's amazing the amount of programs they have. But just a few examples. They have summer readings that go through August 5th. They have Legos and games on Thursdays, Mondays and Thursdays. They have children reading to dogs. Obviously, it's helping the children learn to read, but they get really excited about the fact that they can, interact with canines. There's music class for babies on Fridays, there's yarn clubs, there's Mario Kart on Switch, where kids age 7 and up get to compete on Mario Kart. And I mispronounced this last time I announced it, but there are mahjong groups, right?
Yeah.
I've never played, I hear everybody else does, I'm in my cave at home. But I hear it's a wonderful event. Anyway, July 15th from 1 to 3 p.m. Mahjong, if you're interested.
Sure.
Anyway, many more things. Please go to the website if you have young children. There's a ton going on. I know I'm forgetting something. Let's see. Oh, back to July 4th week for a second. We also opened up the public bathrooms. I hear from Sean Heater, great success. The gate guards were telling Sean, our beach director, how people love the new bathroom. So once again, compliments to our DPW, who, by the way, DPW got those up and running by July 2nd. There was legitimate concern we would not be ready by the July 4th weekend. They pulled it off. They had to change out some of the equipment. Everything was up and running by July 2nd, the day of fireworks that evening, and nothing but great praise from all of our residents. So I think our residents are excited to have bathrooms accessible at Ocean Park, the north end. So that was big. And the other thing is our head of lifeguards, Mike Rosenberg, and our beach director, Sean Heater, they worked miracles with staffing, both for our beach guards as well as our lifeguards, because we actually were running out of staff. They both scrambled to get people on board to help after hours, longer hours, and two, to preserve the people's health because they work shorter shifts because of the intense humidity. So much going on behind the scenes that our employees all jumped in and literally saved the day. So kudos to all of our employees. And I really wanted to discuss one final thing. I actually have a prepared statement, but let me just go into that. During our last two council business meetings, a resident publicly condemned a handful of individuals, one as a draft dodger and another as a person guilty of stolen valor. I was not present in the first of these meetings. In the second meeting, the resident, who himself is a war hero, again attacked the integrity of these men, again referencing them by name in public. I asked the resident to refrain from making such terrible accusations in public. However, I was also unaware of the circumstances that had caused these harsh accusations. After that second meeting, I was able to determine that there was a typographical error in the appendix of our Fallen Heroes brochure. This administrative error inaccurately listed the veteran as having served in Vietnam. The proper reference should have been Vietnam era, as he was actually a member of the New York National Guard, Vietnam era. This error has already been corrected and will be reflected in the appendix of next year's brochure. What is important to note tonight is that these unfortunate accusations were not true. The National Guard veteran was not even aware of how his branch of service and the conflict in which he served were listed in the appendix. My hope is that we will all learn a valuable lesson moving forward, to provide others with the benefit of the doubt before succumbing to overreaction and resorting to potentially damaging, unfair accusations. This could have been easily avoided if facts were checked beforehand and if a rush to judgment had been avoided. For anyone familiar with the TV series of a few years ago, Ted Lasso, please consider the wisdom offered by the lead character, Ted Lasso, in season 1. The moral of a brief story that he told while throwing darts in an English pub was, be curious, not judgmental. These are words to live by. That concludes my report. With that said, I would like to now open it up to item 14 on our agenda, open it up to public comments and questions. Show of hands. Yes, sir. Please come up. Yeah. Give your name and address.
Sandy Chapman, 506 Burlington Avenue. First, two quick apologies, one for the phone call. Sole caregiver for the evening, my 17-year-old grandson, and some people were concerned that I was here and not there. And to Mr. Doherty for who probably heard some of what I'm about to say. I listened with interest to the mayor speaking earlier about the promenade, the so-called Project Protect. But there's no doubt the project is necessary, but frankly, I am so upset and disappointed about the way it is rolled out and been managed. Yeah, you have to hurry to get it done before the grant expires. But the grant was given in December of 2024. Preliminary design was a year and a half in the making. January 24 to June of 2025. Final design took another 6 months or so, ending in January of 2026. And now in the beach town of Bradley Beach, we find ourselves with a huge construction project, grossly inconveniencing anyone who uses the Third Avenue Beach, the Second Avenue Beach. Doesn't make any sense. A lot of people were asleep at the switch that that project, which had been now in effect for almost 24, 25, almost 3 full years, is now being done during peak summer months in this town. Maybe I missed some of the meetings because I'm not here all year round and don't attend virally, but Third Avenue access, terrible. Steps, too steep. I didn't try to go down them, by the way. I only looked at them. My wife will not be able to go to the beach this summer. There are no ramps, by the way.
That's not true, but continue.
Excuse me, I'll speak.
Please.
Yeah, there's a ramp on Fourth Avenue. Is there any on the Third Avenue entrance? Is there any on the Second Avenue entrance? People are not gonna be able to access the beach. My wife had one knee operated on, and I'm looking forward to the other. We picked Third Avenue as a place to reside at the beach in our locker. Because we live on Burlington, it's easy to access, and you didn't have to climb stairs. I'm 79 years old, as is my wife. There has been no regard for senior citizens or disabled citizens with the way that is designed currently during the construction. There's no way they can access the beach. Frankly, I don't know if it's gonna be accessible to disabled people and senior citizens after it's done. Is there gonna be a ramp? There should be a ramp now. Frankly, I don't know whether you're ADA compliant with just the stairs there. I wish the borough attorney were here tonight. I would ask him.
He is here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me. I missed this.
Even if illegal.
Is it? No. Even I make mistakes. Is it ADA compliant the way it is?
My understanding from the engineer is it is the way the beach promenade is currently set up.
Those stairs are fine, and so
I mean, I'm not the engineer.
people that are disabled can't access the beach where they pay for lockers. I'll come back to that in a second. Where they've been bathing a lot of years with a lot of people they know on that beach. The Fourth Avenue ramp, to me, is not appropriate. Doesn't help me, doesn't help my wife. She can't go from there. That come to the beach on Third Avenue, doesn't work. I'm
Well,
lucky.
I'm not telling you your arguments are valid, I'm just, legality is different than.
Well, I'd love to hear the answer from you and the engineer and show me how it's. I'm a lawyer. I did a little bit of research. Not enough to definitively answer that question. I apologize. I may be over my 5-minute limit, but and by the way, there's an irony there. When I spoke to Mr. Dougherty, I complained bitterly about the lockers. One of my locker was not usable. It's 348. So if you enter on Third Avenue and you look for 348, you're a lot closer to Fourth Avenue than to Third. That aside for a second, the first lockers you get to, there are 6 300 group lockers before you get to the 200s. Oh,
5 minutes is up.
I didn't really, I hope I didn't upset anybody.
And by the way, your time is up, but please finish.
I'll be quick. When I spoke to Mr. Dougherty, he told me that those 300 numbered lockers at the beginning, before you get to the 200s, and then the odd 300s, and then the evens, those are for disabled people. Find that very interesting. They're gonna come down the stairs.
Yeah.
There's no way they can access the beach or those lockers with a ramp. I implore you. Put a ramp there, and I don't care what the engineers say. If they can't figure it out, you need new engineers. And make sure there's a ramp there once that promenade gets finished, because you'll have the same issue. Thank you. I'll listen from here if you want to speak.
Yeah, a couple quick comments. One, you know, there's your comments, there's no way people can access the beach or individuals who are handicapped. We've done nothing to reduce previous access. Every handicapped person who accessed the beach a year ago, the same ramps exist, the same access, some access is flat. We have in plans, we could not do it this year because we needed to have CAFRA permit, but we already have plans to add 3 more ramps next year. The new promenade extension will have a number of additional ramps. I don't know if it's two or three, but over 3 phases. Maybe it's at least 2, right? Maybe.
Use that, but frankly, disabled people could easily access Second and Third Avenue.
So it's my turn
before
to
this
speak
project,
then.
And they can't now.
It's my turn to speak. Just,
You're right.
we're not trying to debate, I'm just trying to give you answers to the comments you made. Everything, and your comments about people falling asleep at the switch, you're attorney by trade. You probably are not aware of things called beach amarants or other endangered species, because the problem with the timeline you provided, no one was asleep at the switch. Intense discussions for a year with the DEP, with the federal government, what we could and could not do when to protect all these endangered species. And it came down to, and our engineers needed time back and forth with these various entities to make sure that whatever we planned was in collaboration and alignment with protecting all these different elements of species. So nobody was asleep in this way. I would just take a little offense to some of the accusations, because quite honestly, we've had people intensely working on this for well over a year. We've been dying to get this thing going, and we've waited literally months and forced to sit while we wait for approval. So now this is what we call municipal government, right? It just does not move quickly. Now, this council, our engineers, our attorneys, they're doing everything in their power to get this stuff done. And the one issue that I agree with you on, I don't love the temporary stairs at Third Avenue, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you they're ADA compliant. They seemed a little steep to me. I went out to look at them. They are temporary stairs. The alternative would be to have no stairs. We could not build ramps. Anything that is not temporary has to be approved under our federal CAFRA regulations. So it's better than it was before, because before there was nothing. I'm not saying it helps a disabled individual, but it helps beachgoers access another point at the beach they would not have otherwise had. So I understand your frustration, but you need to understand, as you make these accusations about people being asleep at the switch or not being able to access, we're doing everything we can.
For that, but when you want a project done, people seem to be able to get it done. You stay in DEP's face, I've been there. You
Okay,
stay in your engineer's face, I have been there.
Yeah.
And the project started back in January of 2024. It could have been done, but I'm not laying blame on any one person. Because normally your engineers are the people that are supposed to stay ahead of that stuff, you know? And someone's gotta kick their butts too. Thank you.
thank you. Other comments or questions? Yes, sir, Mr. Cohen.
Thomas J. Cohen, 612 Third Avenue. Mayor, congratulations on the $200,000 grant. I just wanted to understand it in context. In the budget, you were using 300,000 of surplus.
350.
350, okay, for the police radios. So now you're only gonna use 150 of that and the other 200 will remain in the surplus?
I mean, well, the 350 itself is an estimate, but yes, if the exact cost comes out to 350, then we would use 150. And the question would just be, do we use that as an operational expenditure and offset funding that we receive from the sale of the church properties? Or would we bond for that 150?
Oh, okay.
That's not.
That would be another option, then you could leave the 350 in the surplus.
Mhm.
Okay, great, thank you, congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, sir, Mr. West.
Bob West, 518 Norwood and Greenbelt. Any early feedback or information of concerning the lights on the sprinklers in Fletcher Lake?
Well, so far, what I've understood, and I was actually surprised to see that there were 2 additional lights that were put on, because it was really my understanding that this would happen after we
Me too.
received, yeah, I mean, we had approved 1 light. So the commission went ahead and put the other 2 lights on. In the meantime, there has been testing by Clonet, and this is through Monmouth University. The testing has shown that the oxygen levels actually were very good. And that the lights were actually promoting the better health of the lake, which is interesting. So they just came out with a report, which I don't know if you received the information from our chairperson, that we would like to share with the whole community of exactly, the levels within the lake. So I can't tell you, details of it right now, but
Any resident feedback? I mean, I like them.
Yeah.
I was in favor of them and I like them. Just wonder.
there's been 1 resident who has come to a few meetings with concerns that the lights were infringing on her own personal space at home. So I think it's the Public Works of Neptune that is actually managing those devices within the water, and so they've moved it further into the lake, so it's not as close to the shoreline, and I think that's helped. Otherwise, I think there's been very positive response on the lights, so.
Like I said, I was in favor of them, and I saw them, and I think they look nice.
Yeah, I
They
mean-
don't seem very bright. I don't live on the lake.
Yeah, and I think they've also tried to adjust the times that the lights were on. So I'm not sure exactly what time they go off, but they're supposed to go off at like 10, 11 o'clock, something like that. So they're really only on from sunset or dusk to, I think, 10 PM.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
And Shauna, you alluded to Anthony DeMayo's comments, but the report that the Silver Lake Commission received suggests that we have one of the healthiest lakes, Fletcher Lake, along this stretch of 6 or 7 freshwater lakes. So whatever we're doing a really good job there. And they're also thinking about stocking the lake with trout or fish.
Yeah, so the lake stocking was potentially gonna take place this season, but the warm waters really are not best for lake stocking. And the fall was a consideration, but that also can impact because then they would have to acclimate to the temperatures going into the winter. So there's going to be a plan for lake stocking next spring. And we're gonna, the commission is gonna try and really make a big deal of it and make it a public event.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from the audience? Anyone on Zoom?
No.
No. All right, seeing no other public comments, I'll move to item 16 on the agenda, executive session. There is none. Item 17 is adjournment. I will make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, meeting adjourned.